What are the Eagles doing is a tremendous question. Good Wednesday morning, Philadelphia. I'm Andrew Salciunas alongside my man John Kincade. Johnny, yesterday you called me. You broke the news. Congratulations. You're Johnny Schefter, who we're going to be speaking to coming up today around
Clark,
8 o'clock.
Senior.
Yeah, sure. Yesterday, we get off the air. We do the promo talking about, hey, the offseason and off-seasons following Super Bowl wins and how it hasn't necessarily gone all that well for the Eagles. Obviously, we remember Super Bowl 52, the fall off after that. We remember Super Bowl 57, and then the collapse season the following year. And then they get right back to it, and they win the Super Bowl a month ago, right? And it was amazing. It was a joyous time.
It was awesome.
And now all of a sudden, in the last couple of days, you've seen a defense, the number one ranked defense in the NFL, kind of dismantled, and we understood some of them. Josh Sweat, they weren't going to pay him. Milton Williams, they weren't going to pay him over $100 million.
Darius Slay going to get chump change. He's not going to get a big contract. And the word out of Pittsburgh is numbers that may be less than what Rodgers is going to get in year one. Isaiah Rodgers is going to get in year one.
Which is kind of crazy. The Isaiah Rodgers, Darius Slay combo,
Oren
not
Burks,
bringing one of them back. Oren Burks.
2 years for $5 million. Well, you knew Bradbury was gone. And then yesterday, CJ Gardner Johnson.
You break the news to me. You call me. Dude, they traded CJ.
And you said, no, they didn't.
I'm like, no way. They didn't do that. And
way.
And sure enough, they did. And they trade him for a guard who has been struggling, and we'll talk about him more as the show goes on, and a fifth-round pick. And then all of a sudden, all the reports come out that it's a financial decision. And we'll get into all that kind of stuff coming up in a second.
Which, by the way, I call supreme BS.
Yeah, when every single reporter, and I love the Philadelphia media, you know that. We talk glowingly of guys like Tim McManus, Jeff McClain, Zach Berman. They're fantastic. Andrew DeCecco.
The Eagles' collective bench of media is the best in the country.
Right.
For any individual team.
It doesn't mean that the messengers I question. It's the message that I question.
Sure.
When everybody tweets out like the same thing, that means one text was sent out to everybody.
Correct.
And they try to get ahead of the storm that this is a financial decision because they knew that Chauncey Gardner Johnson and this trade will not go over well with a fan base that loves Chauncey Gardner Johnson, a player that we saw the impact of when he left just 2 years ago. Do you guys not remember the San Francisco 49ers game when those players walked in here with an attitude saying, we are going to prove all the BS that they said, but we're going to back everything that we had to say up with this performance. We're going to act like this game is the NFC Championship game, even though it's in the middle of the season. The Eagles went into it with like some sort of business approach. The 49ers went into it with
what kind of business approach?
We're going to kick their ass, and they walk in, and they walk right through your defensive back drills.
And pushed through their way.
And if Chauncey Gardner Johnson is there, that ain't happening. I understand that Chauncey Gardner Johnson is not the greatest safety of all time. Trust me, a lot of you on social media yesterday, because a lot of people are sheep, and whatever the Eagles do, they just agree. A lot of people started doing the whole, come on, man, let's not overrate CJ GJ. Let's not act like he's Brian Dawkins. First off, he is talented in his own right. But second of all, there is more to than just the player that Chauncey Gardner Johnson is. He brings an attitude that this team clearly did not have 2 seasons ago, and they suffered from it. There was a lot of issues that happened inside that locker room. Now, clearly, there was stuff that happened last week between CJ GJ and Darius Slay. I don't know if that had any impact in this. It could be. We will talk about it. But I'll tell you straight up right away to start the show, Johnny. And we'd love to hear from you guys today at 610-632-0975 because that was major news yesterday that came out of nowhere. There was no whisper of it. We didn't hear a single reporter say, hey, be ready to maybe see something like this. I was stunned, and quite frankly, I hated it. I don't like it at all.
I hate it. I hate it flat out. I can't summarize it anymore. And again, the people who are going to put on their Eagles pom-poms and shake them and go, everything's fine. Oh, my God. They just won the Super Bowl. Why are you exaggerating? Oh, my gosh, they're going to be fine. Seriously? They're going to be fine. So and I heard Tyrone Johnson make a great point yesterday on the best show ever. When Darius Slay went out of a game, who went in? Isaiah Rodgers went in.
Yeah.
When one of the corners was out, Isaiah Rodgers was
Keely
first man
Ringo.
up. I mean, not Keely Ringo. We never saw Keely Ringo.
Yeah.
I mean, it's okay. It is okay to be an Eagles fan and to not feel the need to just bah like a sheep and say, everything's fine. It's great. Or to go, Howie. You don't trust Howie? I do trust Howie. I've seen Howie do a lot of great things. But you cannot tell the story of Howie without saying there have also been the Titanic drop-offs after success. The one thing Howie Roseman does not have on his resume is sustained success.
Now, this could be a move where they're going to try to create sustained
And I hope
success.
so. I hope so.
Because they do have to, like, in fairness, all right? In fairness to Howie, we try to be a very fair show. In fairness to Howie, they do have to think about down the road, paying guys like Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, that if they want him to be a part of this team moving forward. Cam Jurgens is going to be up for an extension sometime soon. There are guys in-house that you definitely want to pay. I was very okay with Josh Sweat leaving. I was very okay with not paying $100 million for Milton Williams, who's a rotational defensive tackle and now will be looked at as a starter in New England. Like I was totally okay with them not paying that kind of money. We would be devastated if Jalen Carter didn't get paid, Cam Jurgens didn't get paid. We'd be devastated. So in fairness, there might be a plan down the road. But here's the deal. What we do, we react. What we do, the MO of this show is today's talk show. So in the here and now, I'm damn near pissed off. Like, I hated that move yesterday. It makes no sense. Financially, it actually doesn't do all that much. The people that do the cap breakdowns and go through what kind of money Chauncey Gardner Johnson was going to get, it really wasn't all that much.
You know what the money savings is?
What was it, like $200,000?
How about half of the NFL minimum salary?
Yeah, like that's nothing.
Half of the lowest paid guy on your roster. Half of that. That was the money savings. So again, it's not about money.
Yeah, that's baloney. And again,
it's about something else. And maybe Vic Fangio, who I do trust, maybe he wants something else.
Now, here's the deal. We can all be big boys and big girls here. We try to do that. We put our big boy and big girls pants on before the show starts, all right, every single day.
Your big girl pants are very attractive.
We
They're
can
really great.
still trust Howie and still trust Vic Fangio.
Yes.
And still trust Jeffrey Lurie and still trust Jeff Stoutland, right, because they bring in a new guard. I could still trust all these people. That doesn't mean I can't question them.
And that doesn't mean that you can't look at the facts and say that the same guy who bleeds for the city, who's gotten them to 3 Super Bowls in 8 seasons, can still make a lot of dumb moves too in his and we by the way, we've got a couple on the roster that are, and one of them that's really hampering the whole defensive game plan because of the fact of the biggest mistake that was made last offseason.
Right, Bryce Huff was a non-factor.
Both things can be true, and you say it beautifully there. Both things can be true.
But if I'm going to take a side today, which we do, I'm angry. I am not happy with this move. I want sustained success. I want to talk about the D word. Dynasty, that is, ladies and gentlemen. And all of a sudden, I look at my defense, and it's gone. Half of it's gone. My number 1 ranked defense, half of it's gone. And you traded one of the more beloved players for a guard and a 5th-round pick because you're worried about $200,000?
I think they were worried about him also complaining about not making enough money next year.
That could be it, too. They could be ahead of something. So today at 610-632-0975, we're reacting to the trade of Chauncey Gardner Johnson. Your feelings toward it? What are the Eagles doing? Answer that question for us today because, quite frankly, I don't necessarily know. I have some theories, but those theories I don't necessarily agree with. So we're going to talk about it a lot today. It is a big football Wednesday here on Kincade and Salciunas. Shefty at 8 o'clock today. Andrew DeCecco for 2 hours in studio, all here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Thank you so much for checking out our content on the 97.5 The Fanatic YouTube channel. Hope you enjoyed the video. And remember, you can always be checking the playlist. There may be something you missed from one of our shows during the day that you want to go back and check out. So every time you like a video, like it, subscribe to the channel, and you'll have that great content coming to you every single day. You're greatly appreciated.